Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Morning Cup of Merch. I am your host, Nick Eden. We're back with another great episode. So let's get right into it. Okay, so first, if you're watching this on YouTube, you notice that this cup is not branded. And I promised you guys that I would do a different coffee cup every week that we have the show. However, the reason that I didn't do a branded one today is because we got our package in from Spring, formerly known as Teespring. So we're actually going to be doing our unboxing today. This is going to be our first unboxing. And we're going to do an unboxing every other week. And it's going to be from different print-on-demand platforms. Sometimes we'll double up. It just really depends on the product, what exactly I want everybody to see. So this week, we're going to be doing our mug from Spring. So I'm really excited about that because, of course, I'm a coffee guy. And, I mean, come on. You guys are like my coffee crew. Well, you're not in the coffee crew just yet, but I'll talk a little bit about the coffee crew a little bit later. But we do have a lot of stuff to talk about. This won't be a long podcast today, but I do want to talk about a few things. And let's start with the Redbubble Purge. Let's get an update on it. So, if you've been paying attention on Facebook and Reddit and even a few users on Twitter, you'll see that some people have actually gotten their Redbubble accounts back, which is a great thing. And I told you guys it was going to even out. Like, this was a mistake, on their part. They're trying to do their best to make up for it. And that's great. There's a few folks who have not gotten their accounts back. So I would offer this advice. There are still other platforms out there that you can make a lot of money with, right? Wonderful platforms with tons of products, their own organic traffic. You got Designed by Humans, Society 6, Threadless, Spreadshirt, TeePublic. Well, I don't know how this is going to necessarily work because TeePublic is now owned by Redbubble, but regardless, there are other platforms that you can go out there and you can build on and you can sell. My advice is this: play the long game. No judgment here, but play the long game because it just doesn't make any sense. Why would you risk listen, I get it. I've had those times where the sales have been low and it's just like, man, I know everybody is out here and they're keyword stuffing or they're keyword spamming. And depending on your level of desperation, you can get desperate. I understand that completely, but it's really not worth it. It's not worth it. And I got to be honest, at this point, and I hate to say it like this, again, no judgment, but if you got kicked off of Redbubble, you had to be doing a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, you had to be doing a lot of stuff for them to kick you off and for you to stay off. This is not to the people who got caught up as collateral damage and got back in there. That's not what I mean. You folks, y'all keep rocking, keep doing your thing. If you were thinking about possibly skirting the line, maybe this will be the motivation for you not to skirt the line. So just my assessment on that. But you had to be doing a lot of stuff. So it's not worth it because now you're not going to make the money. It's going to take a while to build back up to that. And if you were keyword spamming and stuffing and everything like that, then I can only think that if prior to you doing that type of tactic, that you may not have been selling that well. A lot of people don't go dirty until clean is not selling for them. That's just the honest truth. So think about that. It's going to take you a while to get back up to that. And it doesn't really make any sense. Was it really worth it? If you were doing 300 a month and you started spamming and started doing 500 a month and now you lost your account, was it worth it? And I know, I get it. People see the screenshots. They see the YouTube videos and the income reports. That's one of the reasons I wanted to stay away from doing the income report. I will be completely honest because it just does not make any sense. Okay, let me take that back. It does make sense because you do want to show that there's actual progression. You do want to show that there is proof of concept. I get that. So I'm not saying it does not make sense to do an income report. It does not make sense to get so wrapped up in someone else's income report. So I make sure I clarify that because I have a lot of friends who do content and they do income reports, and that's great. It inspires me. But I know what it's like to be just starting out. And this is even beyond, this was before merch and Redbubble. You guys know I started off on Teespring. To see some of these sellers, man, I told you, Teespring is a platform where I have met several $1 million merchants, and to see some of those numbers pour in, and I'm still sitting there trying to get my first $10. I get it. You just have to find your way, and the type of money that you're going to make is not what somebody else is going to make. What they're going to make is not the same as what you're going to make. It's just not worth it. So, small rant, but I mean, just think about it from that way. Just think about it. If you build it up and you're making between 300 and 500, even if you're making $10 a month, if you're making 10, you can make 20. If you're making 20, you can make 40, and so on and so on and so on until you're at $400,000 or higher. You can do it, but don't skirt the line like that, because at the end, it is absolutely not worth it. So go into your next venture clean and with a clear head, a clear vision, and a business plan. All right. So that's it for my Redbubble Purge news. Congratulations to everybody who got their account back. Keep doing your thing. Merch by Amazon. So we are rocking even more. I talked about this a little bit on the 4554 podcast. I have been tiered up to the 10K tier. And I'm not anybody special with that. A lot of people have been tiered up. There were people who were at 100, went up to 200, that were at 8, went to 20. I was 200 sales shy of getting to the 8K tier. And when they did the tier ups, I capped at 10. So, but it's all good. Congrats to everybody who tiered up. Then they did another round. They may be doing another round this coming Friday. We'll see. Hopefully. But if you did not tier up, it's okay. Keep doing your thing. Keep focusing on your designs. Audit your account, especially if you're in those lower tiers and you got a little room to kind of look and see what's working and what's not. It's completely possible. So, but they did that in an effort to bolster listings in Japan. So, starting next week, I'm going to take a different market on the Morning Cup of Merch podcast. And each week, we're going to go through a market and just do like some basic tips for research, some basic trends and holidays that are coming up. Just those things like that to kind of get you jogged to where you can start researching. Because I understand. I don't sell a lot in other markets. I just don't. My biggest market outside of the United States is the UK. I've sold in every market except Japan. But I will also say that the majority of those sales that have come in from those other markets have been things that were culturally specific to those countries. So whether it's a UK holiday or something cultural in UK, same thing in Germany, France, Italy, it's the same. It's all been very culturally centered. That's not to say that general shirts that sell in the US won't sell there, and I'm not even going to act like some of the regular shirts that I just put up here don't absolutely sell there, because that's the truth. They do. But I find that the ones that sell the most are more centered in their culture. So, and I think it's about time to do an appropriation versus appreciation part 2. I did that a couple of years ago. But anyway, so yeah, I'll start doing that. Let's start getting into these other markets, because the US market is, I don't necessarily want to call it saturated, because if you guys are following me on ClubHouse and you go into my live research rooms every Tuesday, you will see literally every Tuesday we find niches with low competition. I'm talking about less than 500 results on Amazon, and with BSRs, the average BSR on the first 2 pages under 1 million. So that means there's plenty of stuff out there to do. It really is, but it is way more competitive in the US. Not as competitive as it might be in the UK or France or Italy or Spain or Japan, hence them tearing everybody up. Now, they're going to be flooding the gates on Japan. We know that now. But if you can do a little bit more research and just really dig into that, then you can really crack through in a market that is not as heavily saturated as the 5 years that we've had in the US market for merch. So just my thought on that. So yeah, if you are not on Merch by Amazon, which would be kind of weird because this podcast is about Merch by Amazon, please go to merch.amazon.com, sign up. And then finally, just okay, I talked about it earlier, and I'm really happy to do this. And everybody's gonna start saying, "Here he goes. Nick is a snake oil marketer now." That is not the case. But I have launched my buymeacoffee.com page. It's buymeacoffee.com/Nick Eden. Here's the reason why. This is Morning Cup of merch. And I'm trying my best to provide value to everyone. Okay. And because of that, I'm launching my Buy Me a Coffee page so that I can really center in on my coffee crew. Now, here's the thing. It's not going to take away, not one bit, from Mindset Mondays that I do on Instagram, from the 4554 podcast, or Morning Cup of merch. It's actually just additional content that's more curated. So membership in it is $5 a month or $50 a year. That's it. But the great thing about it is, this is how much value I'm talking about with it. With that actually comes, every month you're going to get a design bundle. I've been doing these, and I give like 2 away every week in Clubhouse. But every month, if you are a member of my coffee crew, you will get a custom design bundle. Based on the research that we'll be doing, you'll be able to go in, see where you're doing over the shoulder research, as well as there's additional content like a new show that I just launched called Let's Talk About It, that's centered more around just general e-commerce, side hustle, self-employed type of things. And then the ad-free version of Morning Cup merch will be on there, and the video version of the 4554 podcast will also be on my Buy My Coffee page, buymeacoffee.com page. So it's buymeacoffee.com/Nick Eden. And here's the thing, even if you don't, that's fine. If I only have one member of the coffee crew, that's fine. That's not what this is about. This is really just about me just trying to center in and give as much value as I possibly can. But if all you do is listen to me on Morning Cup of Merch or the 4554 podcast or Nick Eden on YouTube, I'm totally fine with that. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone who does it. So no pressure. It's just a couple of things going over with the coffee crew. So follow the links over there and sign up today if you feel so inclined. So that's about it, what we're going to do today. Don't forget, if you are listening to the podcast version of this, head on over to Nick Eden on YouTube, where you can see the unboxing. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to go to the podcast platform of your choice. Look up Morning Cup of Merch podcast, like, subscribe, and we'll be doing our extra content that's not on the video version. So that includes the font of the week, the trend of the week. And if you are interested, if you have questions that you need answered, because I get this a lot in Clubhouse as well, if you go and follow the links, anchor.fm/MCOM. That's anchor.fm/MCOM. Go to the page. If you're interested in having your questions answered, I am starting next week. I'm starting up my merch in the mail segment. I've been trying to do this thing for 2 years now. I've been trying to do this thing for 2 years. So anchor.com/MCOM. You can put your questions in there, and we will devote an entire segment to answering your questions. You just leave a quick voicemail. I'll play it on the show on the podcast version. I'll play it on the podcast version, and we will answer all of your Merch by Amazon, Redbubble, TeePublic, print-on-demand questions. So anchor.fm/MCOM, and get your questions in. Other than that, that's all I have for today. Everybody take care. Please do your very best to stay on the straight and narrow when it comes to making money in print on demand. And I will talk to you again, same time next week. Take care. You thought I left. Now, that's all the podcast version is getting. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're seeing this part, now we're getting to our unboxing. So, got here our trusty knife here. I love this knife, actually. And let's see. So, it seems to be in a very secure package. I have ordered a mug before from Teespring, and I was very happy. I've ordered a mug before from another provider that when it got here, it was shattered. There's a reason I don't talk about them anymore, and that's it. Because they didn't feel the need to reimburse me for the place I made. But that's not the case with Teespring. So, coming off top, ta-da! Wow, okay. So I really like it. It's very true to the logo. You will notice, if you notice the Morning Cup of Merch logo, you know on these sides I kind of have just a little extra white outline to make that come out, and I have it on a dark background. The reason that I did not put this on a black mug is because I've ordered from Teespring before, I told you, and it was a black mug. I was supporting Roland Martin Unfiltered, which is a political show that runs here on YouTube. It's a daily digital show. But he did the black mug, but when it came to right here, it's just like they did the print part. And I'm like, if I'm gonna get a black mug, I want the full mug to be black, right? So I said, okay, for this one, we're gonna do one in all white. We're gonna do one in all white, and I really like it. I like the detail on it. It looks good. It's not the biggest cup. I like big cups of coffee, and maybe that's what puts me in such a good mood during the day. But nonetheless, I really like it. I will be using this next week. Obviously, I'm not going to put it right out the box and put coffee in it. I'm going to wash it definitely. But great job, Spring/Teespring. The great thing about it is, and what I like about ordering samples on Teespring is that it's not like with merch. So like with merch, if you go in and you order a shirt, you're gonna have to price it low unless you want to pay full price and just wait the net 30 for you to get your product in. But with Teespring, once you make your listing live, you can actually purchase it as a sample, very similar to Printful. However, you don't have to do it every single time. So you don't get the restrictions. Like with Printful, you can only get X amount so much, depending on how many points you have, X amount of samples per month. So that's not the case with this, and I absolutely enjoy this. I will tell you all that most of my unboxings will be centered around the show, Morning Cup of Merch, for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not giving away all my niches. That's first. Second, I'm really trying to brand this show and make it bigger and make it better. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the unboxing today. So Teespring, now known as Spring, you get an A+ from me on this unboxing. I will be sure that going forward, similar to what I have before, I will continue to order mugs from Spring, and I would encourage everyone else to do the same. So that's it for this week, y'all. Take care. I'll see you next week.